Still one down in this 5-match series, despite the last wicket heroics at Old Trafford. England have turned to a combination of youth and experience in an effort to square the series here at Trent Bridge. The youth is Andrew Flintoff, Lancashire's 20-year-old all-rounder, who earns his first cap today. The experience comes from 33-year-old Graham Hick, who together with leg spinner Ian Salisbury returns to the Test arena after an absence of 2 years. The South Africans will be without Lance Klusener, who's now back home, unfortunately awaiting an ankle operation. But bolstering the attack will be Shaun Pollock, who returns after injury. Welcome to the highlights of the opening day of this fourth Cornhill Test match at Trent Bridge. England have a lot to do if they're to turn things around against this very talented South African side. We're going out the centre now to join the two skippers, Alex Stewart and Hansie Cronje. With them is Simon Hughes.
Alec, you've elected to bowl first. What's the thinking there?
Well, I think it'll be a fair wicket, but it's a little bit of live grass still, a little bit of moisture, and I think the bowlers will have a good chance early on.
What's the thinking behind the team selections?
Well, obviously Robert Croft went back yesterday. We felt it didn't require 2 spinners. Alan Mullally's the unlucky one. We just felt Angus Fraser is someone who can seam the ball, and we've got Cork who swings it, and Goffey with the extra bit of pace.
Does it mean Andrew Flintoff will get quite a go with the ball as well?
Yeah, possibly. He's obviously making his debut. He's looking forward to it. He's obviously a frontline batter, and at the same time he's useful with the ball.
What's the feeling now? I mean, you've got out of jail at Old Trafford. You've got to win this game, really, haven't you? Yeah,
if we're going to win the series, we know we've got to win the last 2. First things first, we've got to play well here. And it's the first innings that count. I've said that for a while now, and hopefully we can do that.
Has there been any different preparation for this game? Have you given a special pep talk, for instance?
No, not really. You know, the boys are looking forward to it. They know what they have to do. As I said before, we can talk forever, but it's important that we actually put it into action. And the boys are raring to go, and hopefully we'll put in a good performance.
All the best.
Thanks.
Hansie, you've got to bat first. I guess you might have had a bowl.
Yeah, we probably would have bowled first, but as Alex said, I think it's going to be a fair pitch. Obviously a little bit of movement this morning, but if you can work hard and play straight and get through that period, then you've got a chance of making a big one.
1 or 2 changes in your team. Can you explain those?
Yeah, we've got 2 forced changes. Pollock comes in for the injured Klusener, who is back in South Africa in operation, and Tini's also missing out through heel problems. So in comes Stephen Elworthy for his first cap.
Now you've had probably a time to reflect on the Old Trafford Test. Got over the disillusionment there?
Well, yeah, disappointment, I suppose. We still got a lot of positives out of that, and we're looking forward to this Test match. We've got to try and go out and win both Test matches coming up, and I'm sure it's going to be an exciting contest.
Special moment for you, your 50th Test. You've clocked those up in a short time.
Yeah, I think the amount of cricket played nowadays will help players to get there quickly, and in distinguished company of Johnny Waite. And if my aim is to become the same gentleman in life, then I'll be very happy.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. Simon Hughes there with the 2 skippers, Alex Stewart and Hansie Cronje. And confirmation of the teams the captains were talking about there. England, Atherton, Butcher, Hussain, Stewart the skipper and keeper, Ramprakash, Hick in at number 6, Flintoff, Cork, Goff, Salisbury and Angus Fraser. South Africa, Kirsten Liebenberg, Jacques Cullis, such a success at Old Trafford, then Cullinan, Cronje, Rhodes, Pollock back in the side, Boucher, Stephen Elworthy making his Test match debut here at Trent Bridge, Alan Donald and Paul Adams, the left-arm unorthodox spinner. Confirmation of the umpires, Merv Kitchen, Steve Dunn from New Zealand, comes from Dunedin, and the 3rd umpire, Ray Julian. Match referee, Ahmed Abraham, and England won the toss and Will Field. Now the pitch here at Trent Bridge has been undercover for the last 3 days, and that is to keep some moisture in it. There's confirmation of that, I can assure you, from the fact that Robert Croft was sent back to Colwyn Bay to play against Lancashire instead of staying here for the Test match. It looks as though there might be a green touch about it. And here's David Gower with his report.
Well, I think it's an interesting decision to decide to bowl first on this pitch. There's certainly more grass than we normally see here at Trent Bridge. It's the same pitch they used last year for the Australian match, and that played pretty well throughout. This has got a certain green tinge to it, and if you go down and have a sort of little feel of the grass, it's actually been quite moist this morning. It's very fresh, so you'd expect the ball to certainly seam this morning for the new ball bowlers. But I think as the day wears on and it dries out, and as the game goes on, it's going to be a very good pitch. Not very, very quick as such. It's going to be easy pace, medium pace. The bounce is going to be pretty reasonable, I think. But England have taken something of a gamble this morning.
The contents of a large black cloud unfortunately interrupted play for a short while after just 2 overs this morning. We join the action shortly afterwards. It's the 5th ball of the 3rd over. Darren Gough is the bowler. Gary Kirsten taking strike, and 3 runs are on the board.
And a good play, I think, going round the wickets to Gary Kirsten straight away.
I think there was a little bit of extra bounce there from Darren Gough, just surprising Gary Kirsten. Inside edge onto inside thigh, I think.
It's twice now. He's got the inside edge. Gary Kirsten playing down the wrong line.
I think the key to this is pitch the ball up. See, he draws Kirsten forward, inside edge, Bud saves him.
That's the stroke of the morning so far. There haven't been too many, but that's it. Hawks charging down the pitch. Slip fieldsmen were up. Wicket keeper was up. Umpire was down.
And this is a magic delivery. It goes off the seam from nowhere. I think everybody's surprised by that. Umpire, batsman and bowler. That's gone nicely.
That's 4. It's a beautiful shot to, I suppose, what should have been dispatched in that fashion. A half volley outside off stump, and Liebenberg has given it the treatment. This time he's gone. Right-hander Liebenberg goes to Darren Gough. Outside edge to Stewart. If there was the faintest nick in the previous over, he got away with it, but this time it was quite a hard nick. Through to Alex Stewart. Gough takes the wicket, and Liebenberg's out for 13. It's 21 for 1. Jacques Cullis, the new batsman, very successful tour so far. Splendid match at Old Trafford.
Oh, he's out.
Yes, he's very angry, Gary Kirsten. He really did try and pull the bat away. It's just hit the inside edge. Similar dismissal at Lords for Gary Kirsten. And very good pressure from Darren Gough. Perfect length. Just thought about leaving it. Yes, I think he just got the inside edge of the bat as it turned out. Just trying to pull it out the way in the very last moment. So Gary Kirsten will be very disappointed with that.
There's Daryl Cullinan, multi-talented, really strong player, number 4 for South Africa. Darren Gough, 2 wickets. Now that's well played along the ground. Just played a little bit away from the body, in fact, but the ball stayed down, his angled bat, and no third man down there, so that's 4 more runs. That's very well played. Good challenging ball, because many a batsman not quite so proficient would have gone up with that, but just watch the gloves and the bat below the bounce.
Good bowling and good cricket all round.
There we are, trying to look our best. David Gower waiting for the bar to open there.
Well, that's the shot of the morning. Really a wonderful shot from Daryl Cullinan. The extra gully put in, he was always going to bowl a short ball, either pitched up with outside off, and there you see Cullinan plenty of time, and he just rocks back on this, and the ball hard and new. It's absolutely perfectly played.
Oh, well bowled. That just nipped back off the seam a little bit. Excellent bowling. Quick on a length. And just caught Cullinan, I think, half and half there. But what an opportunity now for Andy Flintoff. His first Test match. Ooh, outside edge, drop short.
And he's got that one to go way off the wicket. That's exactly where he's got to bowl. Both his batsmen are looking to get on the front foot to Flintoff, as he's not all that quick. You'll see Cullinan here well forward. It's just short of a length, and it's gone away and just bounced short of Graham Hick. I think perhaps the slips are just a fraction too far back.
Nice shot. Outfield just a little slow. We had some rain, of course, earlier in the day. South Africa reached the 50 mark now. That was beautifully bowled, inside edge, onto the pads. Otherwise, that was mightily close.
Oh, a little bit of in-swing, but again, the inside edge onto pad. Hansie Cronje on the left, talking with his premier fast bowler, Alan Donald.
Well, again, the inside edge. There was late swing this time for Andy Flintoff. Well, he's come very close now on half a dozen occasions to just sneaking through the gap. Well, that's going to get through the onside. It's nicely played, nicely timed. Wasn't ill-directed by Andy Flintoff, apart from maybe being just a couple of inches too close towards leg stump. Hooked away, great shot. Great shot.
Cullinan hit that one beautifully in the middle of the bat.
Well, that really was a beauty. Perfect delivery, really, from Angus Fraser.
Well, this is the sort of delivery that they've been looking for all morning. Just holding up off this pitch, leaving Jacques Kallis, and Alex Stewart caught a picture of him there as he was just taking the ball, closing his eyes, and well, so very close.
Got him at square leg. It was a good shot, except it went in the air. He picked it up off his hip quite brilliantly, and had it going away, he thought, past square leg. But in fact, Angus Fraser has picked up the wicket. Just hasn't got over it at all, but he's certainly got off the middle of the bat. Hansie Cronje, the South African skipper, coming out now. He'll go past Jacques Kallis. Half a raised eyebrow. Cullinan caught around Prakash Paul Fraser 30. That one's through, so Angus Fraser is finding the edge of the bat. He's already taken the wicket of Cullinan since lunchtime. Also found the outside edge. He's got the ball to dart back just a little. Not much in the pitch for the pace bowlers. Just occasionally one will dart back, and that one has kept a bit low and found the outside edge. That's a classic stroke. Goff's had a bit of a problem with his direction since coming from the Radcliffe Road end, but he's bowled a couple of beauties as well. That wasn't one of them.
gathered in. Not on a good length. You can see the footwork not what it should have been. Outside edge, and a very good piece of fielding by Nasser Hussain.
That's well done. That's just got him into the situation where he didn't want to play at it, but was forced to do so.
That was very well bowled, but the batsman just forward and the ball hitting the front pad.
Be lucky get a decision like that. Murph Kitchen's not going to give those. He's been around a long time in English cricket.
Oh, it's very well bowled. Very well bowled. Very late on the stroke was Jacques Kallis.
Yes, I think it's just the line, the length again. He bowled quite a lot of these this morning. Just squeezed the batsman under pressure. That ball just came back a little bit.
Oh, bad luck.
A gorgeous delivery. Right up there saying, go on, have a little dart at me. Go on, and he has done. You remember the couple of balls before that, he's just nipped him back. He just angled him in at the batsman.
Good shot. Really good shot. Slightly overpitched and no hesitation about the off drive. 3 runs for Hansi Cronje. Good shot, beautiful shot. It was almost as if he was waiting for it. The bouncer, the short ball like that, is supposed to be a surprise ball, but Hansi Cronje was on the back foot, ready, waiting. Thank you very much. Oh, beautifully bowled. Beautifully bowled. I don't know what the words are that Darren Goff's looking for, but it pitched.
I can tell you, Tony, but not on air.
It pitched and went straight through the gap between the bat and the body and over the top of the middle stump. And it's time for Ian Salisbury to make his comeback. That's very well bowled. The adjudication is not out. Very well bowled indeed. That's in the gap there. It's a bit of a chase for Gus Fraser, and this will depend on the timing. There's well enough time. 3 runs coming there to Jacques Kallis, and the 100 comes up for the loss of 3 wickets. Well. He decided that before he went. 4 runs over the top, but I don't think Ian Salisbury needs to worry too much about that, because that was going come what may.
That's gone fine enough to beat Angus Fraser. 4 runs. Pull that away pretty well. In fact, very well. That's cleared the ropes. Picked it up very cleanly, read it, got in position. It was just a fraction short. Gave it a good thump. Oh, very nicely played. Just guided away. That was all timing and placement. And this outfield just holding the ball up a bit. 3 runs to Jacques Kallis.
Well, again, Cork pitching the ball up and looking for the swing, which wasn't really there. Jacques Kallis, no great effort in that particular shot, but finding the gap nicely.
Four more. Well, Ian Salisbury dropping just too short. There's no great pace in this pitch. Good shot. Bluff, double bluff, treble bluff, whatever it was short. And Hansi Cronje got well on top of it, clubbed it away well in front of square. Well, it's 4 runs, that much we have to say. Mid-on was deep, as Angus Fraser. Ian Salisbury will feel that he's just beaten Cronje in the flight a little bit, yet it still cost him 4 runs. That's 4 more. This time Jacques Kallis picks his spots. That's through, and it's found the inside edge. So Andy Flintoff has his first Test wicket. England had the breakthrough that was seeming to pass them by.
Well, the man with the golden arm. He certainly looked the bowler most likely to pick up a wicket this morning. He got most movement out of this pitch. And here we are in his first over back. He just gets one to cut back in. A little inside edge. Jacques Kallis immediately looking behind him, which tends to suggest that he's got a little nick. He didn't walk, he stood there, waited for the umpire to give him out. And out he gave him. And there's the little nick onto pad, and just gently through to Alex Stewart, the keeper. And I'm afraid Jacques Kallis has to go.
Behind the umpires, making his way out, is Jonty Rhodes. So 147 now for 4.
Would have been a useful one. Moved well to it. Could have been one of our great catches or stops.
Yeah, and I think Butcher was going to his wrong hand. He's of course a natural left-hander, and I'm not sure that he picked it up straight away. There's a little bit of a hesitation there, and I think coming at that angle, it often comes out the crowd behind square leg, different colours.
That's a good shot, just a fraction short. This pitch is slow and there's not much bounce in it.
Well, plenty of supporters from all around the world. And there he is from the Kruger Park, lovely part of South Africa.
Now then, how many for that? Only 5. That doesn't please the bowler at all, I shouldn't think.
Tried Solly.
And it might be a lesson to put the helmet somewhere else.
Well, this is very, very unlucky. It's actually come off Alex Stewart and bang on the helmet. And that is 5 runs in the laws of cricket.
It's nicely placed. It's in good form. Now, that wasn't a fierce hit by Hansi Cronje. He's really just laid himself on top of it, and he's reached his half-century with a delightful shot. He is in very good form. He's made 50 from 74 balls, 75 with that one. Fraser was doing that earlier in the day, just getting the occasional ball to move away off the seam. Leg cutter. Just go past the outside edge.
Yes, beautifully bowled. Great shot. Very well timed by Jonty Rhodes. And that's been a feature of his play this year. He's been very good square of the wicket, but he's really improved his play.
did that miss? I suppose it's gone over the top, but it looked in ordinary speed, in the naked eye. Yep, oh, and a good 6 inches over the top.
Oh, good shot. Nicely timed. Perfectly placed through extra cover. Was that carried? No, just off the edge, just dropping short. That makes all the difference. Well, I thought there was a lot of inside edge on that, but he's given it. Well, it might just have been the sound. Angus Fraser gets his reward for an excellent spell of fast-medium bowling. Just got that one to cut back in to Jonty Rhodes. Seemed to wrap him high on the pad, but he's gone. LBW to Angus Fraser. England have got the wicket they've bowled for. 196 for 5 now.
Oh, that must be very close. Was there a click of bat on ball? And well, Darren Gough really felt he'd earned that one. No real stride forward. The 200 comes up. Slower ball and beautifully bowled by Dominic Cork. Stifled appeal. And this is what's left for the bowler now. The pitch is perfect, so it's really as much speed variation. Well, where did that go? Beautiful shot, excellent timing, and that'll beat the fielder. I think it does. 4 runs.
Oh, good shot. Dominic Cork hoping that ball would just swing a bit, but it didn't. No need to run for that. That's right out of the meat of the bat.
He's a real danger man, is Sean Pollock. He's not going to hang around. When he plays his shots, they really are well struck.
Good shot. Great use of the feet. He found the gap just past Ian Salisbury's left hand and past the right hand of Andy Oram at mid-off. 50 partnership comes up for them. Four runs. And Mark Butcher's opening ball past the outside edge. Didn't seem particularly threatening. It was wide. And Sean Pollock tempted to follow it.
Question of England hanging on now. They've got the new ball coming. Good shot. That's a beautiful stroke. If anything, he waited on it, hit it down, and timed it perfectly. No great belt at the ball. Once again, outswing, but this is dealt with quite beautifully by the South African captain. He eased himself into the cover drive and has reached 100. That's a lovely innings. I've seen him play a lot of test match innings. I don't know that I've ever seen a better one than today in him. And that's the sort of start the batsman wants, almost as though he was laid back waiting for that. Thinking along the lines of Darren Gough, a bit stiff. First one might be short, I might whack it. A half century for Shaun Pollock to go with a century for his captain. Oh, but he's too good for him. He's produced a beauty. First ball of the new spell. If Pollock was looking for anything, it certainly wasn't the big leg cutter that left him and found the outside edge.
Well, Shaun Pollock said he wanted to go halfway towards what his uncle scored here in 1965. His uncle got 125 in the first innings. Shaun Pollock's got 50. So I'm sure he'll be disappointed at getting out. Delighted to have got 50. That was a brute of a ball.
Mark Boucher is the new batsman. Safe, but not very far out of the reach of the man at mid-wicket. And 4 runs. Bit of fun going on out there. A beauty to get Pollock's wicket. Now this one.
Well, this is either very fortunate or very well judged.
That's well bowled. Just enough movement in the air, and then it continued a little off the pitch. Find the outside edge. Hansie Cronje has joined a select list there, South Africa's leading run scorers. Oh, must be out. I would think that that was under the LBW law that allows the umpire to give batsmen out when they're not playing a stroke. I reckon that's as plumb as anything you could imagine. And that's the way the score remained, because the lights suddenly deteriorated. The umpires had a quick conference, spoke to the batsmen, and they all hustled off the field. 302 for 7. It's quite an even scorecard there. Gary Kirsten not double figures at the top, but then Liebenberg, Cullis and Cullinan and Rhodes, along with Pollock, all into double figures. 50 for Pollock, a lovely innings from him, and an outstanding knock from the skipper Hansie Cronje, 113 not out. Now the bowling figures, Angus Fraser did very well. 19.2 overs, 3 maidens, 4 for 42. He gave everything out there today, which is not unusual for Angus. He's a tremendous trier, and today bowled really well. Deserved what he got. 4 wickets and 2 for Darren Gough. I thought he was really good early in the day. Bowled well, pretty well throughout the whole of the South African innings. And none for 65 for Cork, 1 for 49 for Flintoff, and Salisbury was expensive with 57 taken from 9. Mark Butcher bowled just before the advent of the second new ball. But an outstanding knock from Hansie Cronje, and he talked after the game with Simon Hughes.
Hansie, you were put into bat, 302 for 7. I guess you'd settle for that on the first day, wouldn't you?
I would think so. I was a little bit disappointed to lose 1 or 2 wickets at the end. I felt that we played really well up until the new ball, and then Gus bowled 2 good balls to get 2 more wickets at the end. So I would say that the last 2 wickets probably a little bit disappointing, but in the end 300 runs is probably what we looked for. Yeah.
The way the wicket played suggested that your statement at the beginning to put England in if you'd won the toss was perhaps wrong.
Well, I think there was a little bit of life there. If you bowl the ball in the right place, there's certainly a little bit of encouragement there. And the way Angus bowled, I think showed everyone the right length and line was.
Now, it's 3 years since you've last made a Test century, yet you looked in fantastic form out there.
Yeah, I felt in the first 2 or 3 years of my career, I came up with the odd 100. I made 5 up until March '95. But I felt that I've been more consistent over the last 2 or 3 years and consistently chipped in, unfortunately not being able to make it into a big one. And glad that after 3.5 years I finally got to 3 figures again, and thankful to those people that stuck by me during that time.
You were particularly severe on Ian Salisbury. Was that a ploy to try and sort of knock him out of the attack maybe?
No, I don't think so. I think Ian will probably admit that he bowled 1 or 2 bad balls that we put away. And also first day, I mean there's not a lot going for a spin on the first day, and it's a lot of hard work.
Now you, when you scored your 100, you made a signal to a side of the ground over here. Who were you indicating to?
Well, it's my wife that's over here, and my sister and family and that, so it's good to have them here in my 50th Test match as well. It's been a long time since I got married, and first Test 100 since I got married, so I think my wife's a little bit relieved as well, as much as I am.
And you're still in, so what's the plan from here?
Well, we've got a bat well still tomorrow, we realise that, and then obviously go out there and bowl as well as we can.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.
A very happy South African captain there, Hansie Cronje, talking with Simon Hughes. Of the second day's play of this Cornhill Test match, a big first day, 300 runs scored in the day, and England fought back well towards the end, but there is a fine line between success and failure, and the South Africans are still in the ascendancy in this game. I can tell you that this is the way the game started on the second morning, and there would have been a few furrowed brows in the England dressing room. 302 for 7. Cronje is still there, that's the key to it. Lovely innings from him. I was very impressed with that yesterday, particularly the way he attacked the England bowlers when he came out with the side in a little bit of strife. The all-rounder Steve Elworthy is there, and he hasn't scored as yet, but he has a bit of a reputation as being a front-foot player, and looks as though he might be quite useful. Bowling figures for England, Fraser dominating there. He's in his 20th over, 4 for 42. And Gough, I thought, bowled very well yesterday, used his head, and in 22 overs, 4 maidens, picked up 2 for 71. Well, the wisdom or otherwise of Alex Stewart's decision to win the toss and put South Africa into bat was still being hotly debated on the second morning here. Everyone's wondering how the pitch will go, how the South Africans will bowl on it. Well, here's David Gower.
The question today is, what will Alan Donald and his colleagues get out of this pitch as and when their chance comes to bowl on it? Yesterday, England didn't really get much help from it. And the difference, I think, today is that the grass is just that little bit drier. First thing yesterday, when I had a little field down here, this grass was nice and moist, nice and lush. Today, it feels really dry. And that basically means everything now has dried out nicely. The surface is even. The bounce was good yesterday, all but I think about 1 ball. And today, I'd expect it to be even again, for the pace to be just that little bit quicker maybe as things have dried out. And it should still be a very good batting wicket. But we have seen before that the likes of Alan Donald do tend to get just that little bit more out of pitches like this.
Thanks, David. David Gower with his pitch report, and it seems as though there might still be just a little bit of life out there for the bowlers at both sides. We join play now in the second full over of the day. Angus Fraser is coming in to bowl his second ball. Steve Elworthy is taking strike. 4 runs added to the overnight score. A bit extra in that one from Angus Fraser as well.
Well, after that one and the way Elworthy played it, I think one of the gullers will have to come up a little bit shorter, nearer the bat.
That was a real clunk, and it underlines again for me that batsmen who wear helmets, as they all do these days, are sometimes quite happy to take their eye off the ball. He goes down there, just doesn't bother watching. And one of the reasons for that is they know they've got helmets on, they're not going to be hurt.
Don't want South Africa to get away. The lucky thick edge. In fact, it doesn't matter how England get the last 3 wickets, as long as they get them reasonably cheaply.
No. What would you call that? I know it's something like a murder of crows, but what would you give it as a batch of Panamas. Missing by a considerable distance, but well bowled. A bit pacier and a little bit of swing there. Just started on slightly the wrong line. Cracking shot. Didn't get up as much as Darren Gough wanted. He was trying to get Hansi Cronje into the position of having the ball rise steeply at him. Water is only about chest height. Another beautiful ball from Gus Fraser.
Seems to have got a little bit of zip this morning and yesterday evening. Ball just zipping at the batsman, a little bit of extra bounce.
Front foot again. I don't think there are too many back foot strokes around from Steve Elworthy. But that one has produced a boundary through cover. A nice stroke. Now, Jeffrey, you're a Panama man. See you often in Panamas, out doing the pitch report and so on. We're looking for the collective noun. Murder of crows. And what would you say for Panamas?
I leave it to you, Richie. You're the learned man.
What about a boycott of Panamas?
I like it, Rich. I knew you'd find something.
Got him. Nicely caught. Had to go away to his right-hand side. And that was very well done. Graham Hick has taken the catch, and for Gus Fraser, not just congratulations, but 5 wickets as well.
Well, the South African captain trying a late cut. We know that he likes to stay back. He's trying a late cut. He's in such good nick, good form, good touch. The ball just bouncing a touch. It kind of just slipped off the top outside edge. You see that clearly from the back.
The batsman is Alan Donald. Right-hander and aggressive.
Well, again, the ball just zipping through.
That's gone wide. Just 2 slips in place. It's going to be 4 runs. It's the classic feeling when the ball goes through the gap. Why didn't we have one there? That's high in the air again. Angus Fraser coming round, can't quite get there. Well, it's a good contest between Darren Gough and Steve Elworthy this morning. And it looks as though the batsman here is out of control. He's not really watching the ball. He's gone straight up in the air and just dropped agonizingly out of reach. Just out of reach again. How frustrating is this for poor old Darren Gough? They've got the 3rd slip in now. And still the edge flies just wide. Well avoided. Well, a good smile on Alan Donald's face. So partly relief at having got out the way. Partly embarrassment, I think, at the way you had to do it. Not much need to run for that. Angus Fraser is mortified. That's another very good shot. Straight about this time from Elworthy. Not timed as well as the previous one. We still get 3 for it. And the 3 runs enough to take South Africa up to 350 now for 8.
Very good shot. Textbook stuff.
There's something extra in that delivery from Darren Gough. And a lot extra in the bounce too.
Well, this has fizzed off the deck. It's given Alex Stewart absolutely no chance.
Take another blow. Don't think he's wearing a chest pad either.
Well, again, another one just above the heart too. But he won't rub it. They're don't like showing any sort of pain, the fast bowlers.
Well, this one he's won. 4 runs.
Oh, cracking shot. I just stood there. And normally you'd think that would go to an orthodox mid-off, but there wasn't one. England tend to have their mid-offs wide. Never quite understood why. That was just an off drive, but beautifully timed. Done him again, this time through extra cover. And Darren Gough's absolutely right to keep pitching the ball up outside off stump. Slightly overpitched. Still 2 men back on the hook shot. And that's it. It's in the air, and he's got him. Ram Prakash, the catcher. Well, I suppose you'd say it worked.
Eventually. Didn't he play well though, Steve Elworthy? He has played some lovely shots, but eventually Darren Gough has got his man. I think there's been a little bit of not good thinking out there from Darren Gough, but on this occasion he got the ball absolutely right, he got the man absolutely right. I don't think Mark Ramprakash moved an inch, went straight down his throat, and that's the end.
In the court, second time, beautiful catch though. Super catch by Hick. It slipped out first time, but you'd hardly say the ball was out of control. And so that's the end of the innings.
That's a splendid performance from South Africa. Eventually England got through them, but to go from 302 to 374 and do it in quick time was a very good performance. Elworthy scored quite fast out there, 48 in quick time. And the bowling figures for England, well, dominated by those 2 men, Gough 4 for 116, and Fraser, that's a very good performance. He is a tireless worker and he's got a very big heart. Just remember that he was almost left out in favour of Alan Mullally, and he's come up there with 5 for 60 from 26 overs and 7 maidens. And Flintoff playing in his first test match, 17 overs, 2 maidens and 1 for 52. We join play now with the first ball of the England reply. Alan Donald is the bowler. Mike Butcher is taken straight.
Wow. Oof. Talking about somebody else's feet, it didn't quite move at all, but still, the ball hit the middle of the bat. The ball was played a long way from the body, and it went for 1. Good luck. Everyone deserves luck. Well, there's a big shout there, and Butcher sets off. Oh, what a silly run that, because Michael Atherton was absolutely trapped there. He got locked into a forward defensive shot. He heard the appeal, was not at all interested in the run.
Well, no, it was Butcher's call because it went behind square, but he showed no thought for Atherton whatsoever.
Beautifully bowled, and that swung exactly as we said it would, as Chris Broad said it would. That swing really across with the wind. I'm not saying it was the wind that caused the swing. The skill of the bowler did that. Well, it's 4 runs of a thick outside edge. Certainly no intention of playing it down there. Wry smile from Alan Donald. Probably had some discussion with Hansi Cronje about whether he needed a 4th slip, and Donald said, he always say, I said yes, and the skipper said no, and look where it's gone.
That's a good stroke from Mike Butcher. PricewaterhouseCoopers ratings for the bowlers around the world. Alan Donald is on top. That's a good shot. He's in the slot with Donald trying to push it away for the waiting slips. And Butcher jumped all over it.
Beautifully played. Now, you might think that that slipped just a little bit off the face, a little bit of the edge, but that was nicely played. Very nicely played. Front foot, wait for it.
Oh, well, there's shouts and shouts and shouts. Steve Dunn hasn't swallowed, but Michael Atherton did. Oh, that's a beauty. Yeah, you'd reckon for all the world that the batsman was an absolute certainty to have got a touch on that. It went so far.
Well, this is just a great delivery. In fact, in the end, look at it swing after it went past the bat. And that's a good indication of pitching the ball on the seam. It's moved and then swung.
Oh, that's a cracker. That's a good over from Sean Pollock. You won't find too many better overs than that. He's chased that and he's found it. Long way outside the off stump, but Atherton got there.
Well, he really backed his eye here. You can see him going down on the one knee because it swung away from him. In the end, he did well to adjust it. He really does hit the ball very well through there, and even Jonty Rhodes couldn't get to it.
Good shot. It's good timing, placement, and nice balance in the stroke there from Mike Butcher.
That's worth 1 in the end. It was a great stop in the gully by Gary Kirsten. One rule, of course, of playing fast bowling is that you get the ball off the bat, it tends to travel pretty quickly. Gary Kirsten ruining that fact.
Right there.
Great shot. It's beautifully played. Very nice way to bring up the 50. Wonderful shots. Really did make that look perfectly simple.
Good front foot movement and beautiful timing.
It's good delivery. Attempted Yorker. There's a little bit of bat on that. Just in the nick of time from Mike Atherton.
That's a beauty. That's an absolute beauty, and it's gone down as 4 byes. Well, it beat Mike Atherton, it beat Mark Boucher as well.
Nicely played. That's straight, almost as straight as you can get without hitting the stumps. And good running. Pretty good cricket all round, actually. It wasn't a bad delivery, just a little bit over-pitched. Nice firm shot, played with the full face of the bat. Good fielding, good running. He's got away with it. Very late on the shot. And that ball hitting the bat right up by the splice. And dropping safely to ground. Now this is a key period for Mark Butcher. He's had one lucky escape. Miscued pull. Just needs to pull himself together now.
Outside edge, and he gets away with it. Gets away with it. It's well bowled, slanted across.
Nice little bit of swing there. Just at the last minute he was pushing through it. At this moment when you just get a little carried away as an opener sometimes.
Well, that was unexpected. There was a very commanding shout from the slips, and Mark Boucher behind the stumps. Michael Atherton was unmoved, but let's take a closer look at that. Just flick the pads, and the appeal could be for LBW, of course, and not out, says Mervyn Kitchen. Excellent start. Nicely timed that by Mark Butcher. Gives him a bit of respite, but what a stop that was by Alan Donald. A useful bounce of that. Very good line. Some lines are very awkward.
Yeah, good bounces, making him take some evasive action, but he played them well. A play.
Good shot.
That really was a good shot. I mean, when you think he's had a couple of bounces bowled at him by Jack Callis, and then when it's been pitched up, as you'll expect, he's played very nicely.
A little bit of swing in that, but beautifully played. Over-pitched, in fact. Sort of ball that Mark Butcher was just struggling to keep out at the start. Now he played beautifully in the middle of the bat. Nice, short but punchy follow-through.
Ever so close now. That was the first ball round the wicket. Beautifully directed. It might have to be something like an inside edge that's saved Mark Butcher here. We have the chance, of course, to have another look, and that's what it is. Good shot. That's great use of the feet. And good placement. That really was hit hard. There it is, Mark Butcher's second 50 of the series. Nearly a collision in mid-pitch between Butcher and Atherton. But they're safely home to the tree. Time for celebration on the balcony and out in the middle. That's his fourth Test 50 in all.
Well,
what about that for a bit of ballroom dancing?
It's a beauty, wasn't it? Nothing worse than that.
Beautiful shot. Right out the screws, as they would say in Australia. Middled away perfectly by Mike Atherton.
That's a good stroke. That's a nice way to start things off after a cup of tea and possibly a dry biscuit. Well, that, I think, in the replay might be shown to have climbed fairly steeply at Michael Atherton. Didn't make any difference. He smashed it away. It was a glorious stroke. Just wonder if he kept his eyes on it. He sensed it was going to come at some stage of the over.
Well, and it looked as though he was diving for the trenches, Michael Atherton here. This was a quick delivery, 89 miles an hour, and it started to swing as well.
There's 4 more, which is in touch. It's a beauty. Bit of pace taken off it, I reckon, by Jonty Rhodes, who won't be all that happy that he wasn't able fully to pull it back. That's a beautiful stroke. As was the case with the England leg spinner Ian Salisbury, the South African over the wrist spinner is finding that he has to be bowling with pinpoint accuracy.
Catch!
He's thumped that away on the leg side.
A crucial stage after tea for South Africa is that he's thrown Alan Donald in there. It's got an outside edge and that's gone. And Donald is overjoyed. It's been a fantastic battle between Atherton and Donald. And Michael Atherton will look at that and wonder why he was tempted to play so wide. Brilliant catch. Mark Boucher's astonishing. He can drop something that's straightforward when it's not off the bat, but when it hits the bat, he's always there. And the incoming batsman is Nasser Hussain. He's got off with a square drive, square on the offside.
Well, he just seems to me, Paul Adams, a help yourself bowler. Certainly when you first come in, he may bowl 1 or 2 good deliveries, but it's a bit like Ian Salisbury. It's too many bad balls.
Round the wicket, and that must be close, and that is out. So Donald strikes again, twice in 2 overs. Very intelligent attack, changed around the wicket to the left-handed Butcher, and Butcher's gone.
I think it's right to bowl around the wicket, but let's see where that goes. That's going down immediately to me.
Well, he fell across the stumps after the event, but well, it's impossible for us to judge. You can see leg stump now, and yet the angle you must have to consider. Mark Butcher out for 75. That of its own is a good innings. Good to see him come back with confidence. And yet to lose 2 wickets in 2 overs, now that really is an important and serious occasion for England. Oh, off off the mark with a lovely cracking square cut. It was short, it stood up, it was absolutely the right ball to play that cut. And Alex Stewart, who loves playing his shots, he's always looking for them. Off, beautifully bowled, and Donald throws his hands around the back of his head. It flew over the top of the slip for 4 runs. Through the slips. I think it's pretty expertly kept down, in fact, the sloping bat. But Kallis immediately finds a thick outside edge, and 4 more come to Nasser Hussain. Oh, my word, that came back. Seemed something menacing about those white lips, rather staring eyes. That's another fine shot. Donald just looking for that swing and tempted to overpitch both to Hussain, who struck it for 3, and Stewart, who's hammered it for 4, but straight, mid on, mid off.
Well, that's going to be very close indeed. Tried the in-swinger, and I think it just didn't come back enough.
This is beautiful bowling. Set him up with 2 that went away, and Alex Stewart looking for that one to go away, and well, gee whiz, that's pretty close. Perhaps just the benefit of the doubt. You see here, he's read it as an away swinger. Pollock has bowled the last 2 that have gone away, and it just hasn't, and that is very close indeed.
Oh, the cross of St George, flying high at the moment. Good shot, on top of it nicely. Just enough width from Shaun Pollock to invite the shot. And very nicely played.
Oh, this is a terrific shot. Just short enough, giving him plenty of time. Nice roll of the wrists, that's what keeps the ball down.
Ooh, that's so close. Very, very close. It's well worth looking at this to see what the evidence is.
Well, that's beautifully bowled by Jacques Kallis. Got it to really swing the other way. I think just in fact did too much, and it was just going down the leg side.
That's a lovely catch. Nice catchable height too. But just at the right time for South Africa now, with around about 8 overs or so left in the day's play. They've got a wicket. Alex Stewart is the man out.
Well, it was not a very good shot. Lovely seam on the ball. It's just fractionally gone away from Alex Stewart, but a very comfortable catch by Gary Kirsten. And I don't think Alex Stewart will want to see this again when he gets back into the pavilion.
So 3 down now for 191. It's Mark Ramprakash on his way out. That's gone fine. Racing across the boundary. 4 runs to Mark Ramprakash. That might just help settle a couple of late evening nerves for him.
With beauty. Just about everything that could be right about that.
I've seen a few of these shots during this series from Nasser. He's been in particularly good form.
He looked a bit, not fat, but plump, I suppose. That's what the chef would say. Yes, given him. He's a long way forward. Umpire Dunn has said LBW. It must have been that Nasser Hussain failed to get outside the off stump. If he's played a shot, that's the first requirement. Second is that he's not outside off stump. Third is that the umpire's absolutely certain the ball would have hit the stumps.
Well, I think I'm less so. He's bowled from wide of the crease here. He has got a long way forward. And, well, probably hit him in line.
The night watchman has come out, Ian Salisbury.
He's got it all on to survive this last over. The field is encamped around him. Well, this was very well played because it leapt up quite quickly.
Ian Salisbury survived the last 2 balls of that over, and England went in at the close of the second day at 202 for 4. It was a good performance and a splendid day's cricket to go with the first day when the South Africans had made 302 for 7. 202 for 4 there. A great opening stand between Butcher and Atherton, 75 and 58 respectively for them. Hussain out for 22, Stewart for 19, and then survival at the end for those 2 batsmen. Bowling figures for South Africa. Donald, 16 overs, 4 maidens, 2 for 61. He bowled with plenty of pace today. Thought Elworthy was quite interesting. He's tall and gets a bit of extra bounce, and he is very deceptive. He's quite a bit quicker than he looks. So this is the situation after 2 days of this match. The South Africans 374 all out. Cronje the 126. Fraser and Goff the stars, 5 and 4 wickets respectively. And England 172 runs behind. Donald having taken 2 for 61. Now, one of the heroes of the England innings was Mark Butcher, and here he is talking with Simon Hughes.
I think it's gone pretty well for us. You know, the objective was always going to be to try and get up, and if not past South Africa. And we've gone a long way towards doing that tomorrow.
You made 75. The first Test century is proving a bit elusive.
Yeah, it's you know, people say that it's quite a hard thing to come by, and I'm making it a little bit difficult perhaps. But I suppose if I hadn't got 70 odd, then I wouldn't be here talking to you. So it's not a bad thing.
But you seem to have a good rapport with Mike Atherton. That's 2 good partnerships you've had together now.
Yeah, it's always good batting with Ath. You know, he knows what it's all about as far as, you know, when the ball's swinging and stuff. Helps you out a little bit with technique, and it's good to have up the other end.
Hard for you, I suppose, coming into this game because you hadn't played much really for quite a few weeks.
Yeah, no, I've missed out for sort of a month, and then scored 0 and 10 in the game preceding this. But I actually felt that I was in pretty good nick anyway, so I wasn't too concerned. So it was just nice to get a start and get some runs on the board.
2 excellent days cricket here in this 4th Cornhill Test. After a promising start to their first innings by openers Butcher and Atherton, England once again dropped their guard against the South Africans yesterday, losing 4 for 54 in the final session. Today it'll be up to the England middle order to stage the recovery. That's a familiar situation for Mark Ramprakash, but all eyes will also be on the 2 series debutants, Graham Hick and Andy Flintoff. One of both of them, I reckon, will need to make runs if England are to build a first innings lead and put pressure on South Africa in the second innings. We'll welcome the highlights of the 3rd day's play of this 4th Cornhill Test match between England and South Africa at Trent Bridge. It's been an absorbing contest so far. We've had 2 days of excellent cricket, good batting, excellent bowling and some outstanding fielding as well. England 172 behind, and this is the way the card looks at the start of the 3rd day. South Africa 374, England 202 for 4, Butcher 75, Atherton 58, Hussain 22, and Alan Donald, the real danger man there, 2 for 61. Well, so far the pitch has given the bowlers a bit of assistance. There's been some movement off the seam there, more yesterday than on the first day. Here's David Gower now to tell us what might be happening today.
As predicted, this pitch is holding together pretty well. The grass cover we talked about the first 2 days has been the major factor. Very little wear in the centre of the pitch. This is about, well, it's a fullish length where I'm stood here. The odd little crack opening up, but that's been held together pretty well by that grass. The only difference we can see really is the normal wear and tear from the footmarks. And if we compare, for instance, the performance of the two spinners, Ian Salisbury got nothing first day, Paul Adams got very little yesterday. The only little help he did get was from these footmarks a little wide of the off stump for the left-hander, and that's really what you'd expect at this stage on the third day of the game. By and large, as we said before, it's going to last very well, this pitch, and I think again today, and probably tomorrow I'll be saying the same thing, it's a good pitch for batting on.
Thanks, David. David Gower there with the pitch report, and it sounds as though, once again, it'll be a good contest between bat and ball. We're going to join it now with the first ball of the second over. The bowler is Jacques Cullis, and he's going to be bowling to Ian Salisbury. No runs have been added to the overnight score.
That's through the cordon of slips fielders. Oh. Wonderful chase. Jonty Rhodes just getting in some early sprinting practice. Interesting tactics from Mark Ramprakash. Chest it down, feel no pain. Show him you're tough. Well bowled.
Yes, that's very well bowled. And it really has swung quite a long way.
That was at catchable heights. Luckily for Mark Ramprakash, it perfectly bisected the wider of the two close catches, the gully and the fifth slip, I think it is really now. Straight between them.
Sorry, David, yeah, great delivery. This had to play it, and that's one of those ones when you're skipper, you really get frustrated.
Well bowled again, trying to get that Yorker in.
Well, this is a very good over. Made him play every single delivery, and they've been bang on target, and that's a very good Yorker too.
And the new stand, already the topic for our resident artist.
Oh, did that carry? He's got an incredible habit of picking up any edge that's catchable. Bounced in front. No blame attached to the wicketkeeper, Mark Boucher. Lovely shot. That was interesting because the ball did swing, but swung straight from Steve Elworthy's hand. And it was a signal to the batsman. And Ramprakash was very confident going right out. And he's reached a landmark in his Test career. He's, with that stroke, passed 1,000 runs in Test cricket. So there you see, the new ball is being taken by Elworthy. Dropped him. Oh, did it carry? Sorry, Jeffrey, cut across it then. Excitement.
Well, that's Jerry Liebenberg, but I said yesterday at some stage I thought the slips were a bit deep. A lot of balls have not carried to the keeper, and a lot of these nicks, even though he's pushing at that, have not carried.
That's a good shot. Pitched well up and absolutely no swing at all there for Donald. Good stop. Paul Adams is the fielder. Really good orthodox off drive. That's in the gap too. Very well played. 4 more. The new ball has accelerated the scoring.
Well, this is a change of tactic now. Alan Donald's asked for the leg gully that I mentioned. Here he is. I wonder if he's going to stick a few short balls into his ribs.
And I should say, do you hook, son? Yes, I do, sir. Fine shot. Round 1 to Ian Salisbury. Well, this is easy. It's like a game on the beach for Ian Salisbury. Let's give it a dab through the covers there.
Well, the way things are going, Tony, this new ball of yours, I bet Hansi Cronje wished he hadn't taken it. He'd been better off with the old one.
Absolutely. Oh, that's well bowled. And Pollock much more on target in this over. Bowled some really good deliveries and much quicker. Let's see how straight the seam is there, and a little nick onto the inside of the thigh. Always very painful, that.
Well, I don't think he's bowled terribly well this morning, Alan Donald, but this is an absolute jaffer.
That's a wonderful delivery. It squared him up, pitched, darted away and went past the outside edge. Well, that's a beautiful piece of thinking from Alan Donald. He must have brought that back from off to leg, or at least have it hold its own to straighten up. It's got between bat and pad.
Here is a very important moment for the new batsman, Graham Hick. Some amount of expectation from the applause of the spectators as he's greeted. And certainly England will hope that he can reproduce some of the form that he's been in this summer with Worcestershire.
Good slower ball, and not far away, I'd suggest. Well, perhaps he's got an inside edge. Nope, leg buys. And now, whereas there have been some of the batsmen having a look at the replay on the ground, he's okay. Would have missed leg stump, but not by much, but don't have to have it missing by much.
That's close as well, but a little bit of bat in there, maybe after the ball striking the pad, but this is quite straight and quite fast too, 86 miles an hour, and I think the benefit of the doubt has gone to the batsman there with the inside edge, but it's remarkably close.
That will be a great relief. Not so much for Sean Pollock, but certainly for Graham Hick. I think we can assume he didn't touch it.
Well, just occasionally Donald bowls the absolute jaffer. And that was the absolute jaffer, and unfortunately Mark Boucher wasn't up to it either. Went through and ended up on the turf.
Find a full delivery on just outside off stump. Very good delivery. Very good ball.
And this is much better bowling from Alan Donald. I think sometimes when he gets the new ball in his hand, he feels he's got to race up, loses a little bit of rhythm. But of this run up, just a mile or two slower, but the control is so much better.
Bottom edge onto the stumps. Sad end for Graham Hick. And I think he was actually just A little bit early on the shot too. It wasn't that high a bouncer. It was short, halfway down. He was certainly in position to play the shot. That, to me, goes down as a little ill fortune. Oh, certainly a big moment for him. He's a big man coming to the crease. England 254 for 6. Inside edge. Stifles the appeal.
And this is beautifully bowled. Been running it away from the right-hander. And this one bang on line from very close to the stumps. And absolutely dead if he hadn't got a little inside edge. It's a stifled appeal. Merv Kitchen knows it. Little smile.
That's a good shot. Nicely controlled. Weight into the shot, but no great power applied. Paul Adams winning the race against Hansi Cronje as they gave chase, and then in his excitement taking a wee bit of a tumble.
Well, it's just a question, is it missing by a fraction going down the leg side? Not by much, Geoffrey Boycott.
No, you're right, Richie. It wasn't by much, but he's not close to the stumps when he delivers. Just angles a little bit. See, just enough to go down leg stump.
All right. Well, we know he can handle that sort of thing. He didn't hang back on that. He's a big fellow, around about 6'5", I guess. I'd even be a bit taller than that.
That'll warm everybody up. All the England supporters were at lunch watching that.
Question posed by Donald there with the short pitcher. Flintoff got behind it well enough, but it flew away out towards gully. Tempted Yorker, nice shot. There's 2 good strokes from Flintoff now. One blazing cover drive, way past the right hand of man at cover point, and then from that attempted Yorker, a lovely straight drive. Well, that was interesting. That was quick. That's 2 not so good shots to the short ball. You could bet your life that a player of Donald's quality will be marking that down for future reference, even in the next over.
You're dead right, and after once making a mistake, to try the same shot second time to a ball well outside off stump is silly.
Flashed away of Flintoff's bat. It's been a little bit of a mixture. He's hit 3 very good boundaries, and then he's had a little bit of trouble with the short ball.
That's a good shot. Very pleasant shot that by Andy Flintoff for 3 runs. Oh, cracking shot. And that's more like the Mark Ramprakash, which Middlesex supporters see so frequently. Ooh. Well, that's out. He stayed there a long time as if he played and missed, but it's a wafting bat at a wide ball. And another fine catch behind the stumps.
Well, you always sense that unfortunately Andrew Flintoff would get out in this sort of way. He's played 1 or 2 very loose shots. He's played 1 or 2 glorious shots, but he's a man who likes to get on with it. He's one but I'm sure he'll look back and regret when he gets back into the pavilion.
Well, it's very important now for England that they make some ground to get closer to South Africa's 374, 285 for 7. Well bowled. Such a good action Alan Donald's got. He puts so much in it at the last moment, the last thrust, and even off a short run he then beats the batsman who's been in a long time just for pace. In the air, and wonderful attempt to catch it. Paul Adams a cover. Going to his wrong hand, and a false shot by Mark Ramprakash, who now got his front foot out there anywhere near the pitch of the ball, and a diving attempt. It pops out.
Well, what a glorious shot. Out of almost nowhere, just short of a length from Jacques Kallis. And Dominic Cork very quickly onto the back foot and beautifully timed through mid-wicket.
Yes.
That's a good shot. Beats Jonty Rhodes wide of him, and that'll race away for 4 runs. The fluency now coming to Mark Ramprakash.
Worth asking. That's the response from umpire Merv Kitchen.
This one's just too high. You can see there he's jumping and it's hit right above the roll of the pads.
Yes.
That's pushed away nicely past Jerry Liebenberg. 2 runs bringing up the 300. That's got him. Just what Sean Pollock was looking for. Nice delivery again, but Dominic Cork followed it outside the off stump. There's the reward for a lot of very good bowling. Sean Pollock's first wicket of the innings, and it's the 8th to fall in the innings. Darren Gough on his way out.
So 72 the difference, 2 wickets in hand. Now what will Ramprakash do? He can go on the offensive, try and get as many quick runs as he can batting with the tail, or he can opt for the not out.
That's dropped just short. Edge down. That was the good thing for Darren Gough. Edge down about a yard or so short of second slip. Gets him off the mark and away from Sean Pollock. Plenty of pace from Alan Donald. He's been brought on here to try and shake up Darren Gough. Hansie Cronje has entrusted the task of taking his wicket to the senior man. He's taken Steve Elworthy off. And that's a good bouncer. There's the wicket. Didn't take long for Alan Donald to strike. Brought back specifically for that purpose. And again, just a thin edge through to Mark Boucher. Darren Gough's gone for 2. England are 9 down for 307. First ball goes whistling down the boundary at long leg. Alan Donald trying the Yorker.
Yes.
That's a good shot. Found the gap nicely. On the up through the offside. And it's going to turn out rather well too, because it's going to be 3 runs. 3 runs that take Mark Ramprakash on to 50. Very hard-earned, hard-work 50 it's been too. 50 in 252 minutes off 181 deliveries. Not far away. Inside edge, perilously close to the stumps again. Just going to have to hurry. Hansi Cronje was the man at mid-off. And the throw is just wide.
Yes, and he's taken off a bit late, Ramprakash. Late decision. Very good throw from Hansi Cronje, but just wide.
That's a fine shot. Through extra cover. 4 runs off the meat of the bat. Very pleasant to watch. Good to see for the England cause.
Well, he does that quite a lot, does Angus. He's a very courageous player, but he takes his eye off the ball. And he gets hit quite a lot on the gloves or the arm. Oh, beautiful shot. Just cuffed it, timed it perfectly. That's what I mean about not trying to hit it too hard. Just pick your gap, pick your place and smack it.
Yeah. That looked as though it had every chance of being out there, even from this distance. Angus Fraser goes, OBW to Pollock for 7. 14 balls for him, and the total 336 all out. Yeah, that looked just about plumb. And Mark Ramprakash unbeaten on 67, and that's his highest Test match score in England. And a very good innings it was too. 67 not out there, and the total for England 336. A deficit for them, but they battled on very, very hard. Flintoff 17 and Salisbury the Night Watchman 23, and 34 extras in that total of 336. Bowling figures for South Africa, that is an outstanding performance from Alan Donald. 33 overs, 8 maidens and 5 for 109. Pollock 2 for 75, Elworthy 1 for 41 and Cullis 2 for 60. They were all good backup men, and Donald was the star. That's the way it was at the end of the first 2 innings of this Test match. England 38 runs behind, 374 to 336. We go and join play now with the first ball of the South African second innings. Darren Gough is the bowler. Gary Kirsten is taken straight.
First ball, first shout. First decision, not out.
Well, that's not a bad shout. Right on line, right on length. Just a little bit high, I think.
That one's eluded Darren Gough. It's straight back past him. Looked as though he should have covered it, but straight through the fingertips. And Dominic Cork gets loose. One bounce throw to the keeper. Great delivery. Almost perfect from Darren Gough. Oh, 2 in 2 like that. That's good bowling.
Well, fantastic is a word that comes to mind. Just the perfect delivery.
Well, that's got to be close, and is. Well, he beat him twice in succession outside of the bat. That one was dead straight through the shot. Jerry Liebenberg is gone without troubling the scorers. South Africa are 3 for 1. No one at mid-wicket. That's got enough legs on it, I think, to go to the boundary.
Well, that one nipped away from Angus Fraser. He's occasionally found that little bit extra out of this wicket. Remember, he picked up 5 wickets in the first innings.
That's a fine shot. Right at meet the bats. Very good example of how to play the pull shot. Good bowling again. Well, this new ball is being used well by both Gough and Fraser. They've passed the outside edge now on half a dozen occasions. They've only got the 1 wicket to show for their efforts. Gary Kirsten, the fortunate man this time. In a moment or two we'll find out. That's desperately close. That was how Darren Gough got the wicket of Liebenberg in his first over. Just 1 or 2 subtle differences here. This time Jacques Kallis has got himself just on off stump, just outside. Foot was coming forward as the ball struck the pad, and Merv Kitchen it was who decided that he was just outside the line.
That's beautifully bowled, and that's been the story of the whole match, isn't it? Sometimes bowlers look plain, and then now and again one pitches and leaves the batsman absolutely stranded. Oh, beautifully bowled, and up they go, and they're all convinced that that is out, and so is the umpire, Mervyn Kitchen, who gives a rather startled look and rather surprised that Jacques Kallis stayed there. No one can blame him for staying there. He doesn't think he hit it.
Well, the slips and the keeper were convinced straight away. Not sure about the bowler. And here we have it. Well, it's very close to the bat, and there's an immediate reaction. Very strong square of the wicket, Cullen, and probably the most talented of the stroke players in the South African side.
That's well bowled and flicked away on the leg side. It's gone for 4. It's a valiant effort by Gus Fraser on the fine leg boundary. Oh, that was close. That's out. Steve Dunn, the umpire, took his time. A very long time. Gary Kirsten looked about and began to walk about. And then the finger went up.
Well, Gary Kirsten, he would have known it was very close, thought he'd got away with it.
Hansie Cronje, man who scored that wonderful century in the first innings, comes to the crease. Well, that makes it look easy, doesn't it? Little clip and wonderful timing straight through mid-wicket. No need to chase it. Well bowled. Actually, Hansie Cronje allowed for the away swing there. That's gone racing away for 4 runs. Almost allowed. He played outside the line, in fact.
It's a beautiful shot. 4 runs. Beautifully bowled. Late swing that time. He was drawn into the stroke. I think it probably went away a bit off the seam as well. Well, he's put that away with the greatest of ease, almost as though he sensed it was a double bluff and that it might be an attempted Yorker. It's in the air, but it's no ball, so it wouldn't have mattered. A great save by Dominic Cork All sorts of incident there. Bowled a no ball. It's flashed away through the gully area. It's a good save because he got a very awkward bounce. Well, that's beautifully timed. There's no hanging back. These guys, they're in a bit of trouble. They know they've got a 38-run lead, which is not much. That's a beautiful shot. Not quite what the bowler intended, or one hopes not.
Not far away with that one. It was almost as though, well, it was as though he left it, then suddenly thought, hang on, that's rather close. How close is that? Not quite close enough in the opinion of Merv Kitchen. Very equable man, giving a good decision, I think. Flashed away. Now, got half a feeling that might just have carried, but it was hit with immense power, and it certainly didn't go straight into the palm of the hand. That's Mark Butcher square of the wicket. Well, it's a chance, one of the hardest you'll see, even though he's a good 25 yards away from the bat there. That's a fantastic shot. Really flowing, everything right. He kept that one all along the ground.
8 more runs added to take it along to 92 for 3 at the close of play on this third evening. Kirsten 6, Liebenberg a duck, and Cullis 11. There's a good partnership between Cullinan and Cronje. They attacked the England bowlers again. He's pretty good, this Cronje. That's his method, and he did it very well to take the initiative away once again. Gough 1 for 32, Fraser 1 for 21, and Cork 1 for 23. So this has been a very good test match so far, and this is the state of play at the end of the third day, the Saturday. South Africa 130 ahead, still 2 days to go, so it looks as though, given fair weather, we'll have a result of some kind. 374 and 92 for 3 for South Africa, England 336, and Donald 5 for 109, and he talked a little later with Simon Hughes.
I think we all realise that it was a very big day for us, and we, if we could get on top early this morning and get a few wickets early on, yes, and for us to have a substantial lead, I think was important. So yes, it is a massive day, I think, for both teams.
So how do you think you came out of it overall?
Well, I thought that obviously Rams played very well, and Angus again hung in there at the end with him, and I wouldn't say we're pleased with it, but I wouldn't say we're unhappy with it. I think it turned out to be, it was a bit of a scare there at the start of our innings when we lost 3 quick wickets, but I suppose that's one of those things, and I think now we're going to look to play, start off reasonably tomorrow, and hopefully with wickets in hand be positive at the end.
Now, you took 5 wickets again, though perhaps this wasn't your best bowling performance of the series.
No, I've gone through patches and spells where I felt good and felt bad, and but I suppose if you can get 5 wickets, you're not feeling bad. It's not too bad, I suppose. But yeah, I wasn't unhappy with it. I thought 5 for 100. I'll settle for that on this wicket.
Were you having a bit of trouble with your run-up?
No, I deliberately yesterday cut it short. I thought. We experimented a little bit with it at Durham, and I found that I could get a bit of away shape bowling off that shorter run-up, and that's the reason why we did it. And I think it's, I wouldn't say it was consistent, but not unhappy.
Simon Hughes talking to Alan Donald, who is the #1 bowler in the world, and after finishing their first innings 38 behind South Africa, England clawed their way back into the match yesterday, taking 3 crucial wickets. A minute ago, Liebenberg, Kirsten and Cullis, and they went for only 21 runs. Today it's vital that the England bowling attack keep the pressure on the South African middle order if they're to gain the upper hand. Skipper Hansie Cronje, however, is the danger man. He's already made 126 in the first innings of this game, and he'll be looking for another big innings to bat England out of the match. We'll welcome the highlights of the fourth day of this Cornhill Test match at Trent Bridge. It's been a beauty so far. 3 great days of cricket, and we're looking forward to another one. This is the way it began on the fourth morning. South Africa 374 all out and 92 for 3 after the recovery from that 21 for 3. Cullinan 41 not out and Cronje 32. England 336, and South Africa at the moment, the start of play on the fourth day, 130 runs ahead. Now the pitch has played a big part so far in this match, and here's David Gower with today's story.
Well, this is a pitch at which groundsman Steve Burts can be rightfully very proud indeed. Here we are on the fourth day. It's lasted beautifully, and that's all down to this very good grass covering we saw right from the first day. It's held the pitch together beautifully. There's just the odd little crack appearing, just where the grass hasn't quite knitted. And these are, I suppose, about the only little bits of inspiration for the spinner you might see all game. Ian Salisbury turned 1 last night, I think, in that little spell at the end of the day. There's not much help for him again, so I assume it's going to be the seamers who are going to keep plugging away. If they keep on that length there, every now and again something does just enough to get the ball past the bat. But really it's such a good pitch that once again the batsman can look forward to probably a profitable day.
Thanks, David, and we're going to join play now with the first ball of the second over. Darren Gough is the man bowling. Daryl Cullinan is taking strike, and no runs have been added to the overnight score.
Great shot. Now there is a man in perfect form, it seems. Full delivery first up from Darren Gough, but he couldn't have put it away better. That's over the top. That's going to be 4 more. Again, it was wide and swinging just that little bit wider, but Hansie Cronje, like Daryl Cullinan, going after it. Not quite as elegantly, but it's still 4 runs in the book.
Jonty Rhodes with Adam Bacher. Adam Bacher returning home shortly to have an operation on his shoulder. He was wrongly diagnosed. He's actually had a slight hairline fracture in his collarbone. So he'll be out of action with Lance Klusener also on the sidelines. There have been a couple of injuries for the South African side.
That's a very fine delivery indeed from Darren Gough. Good pace, good line, just moving away again. That's the optimum. That's what he's aiming for. Just couldn't quite get the edge. That would have made all the difference. Yeah. First runs of the day from the bowling of Angus Fraser, and very good ones too. 4 runs that also take Daryl Cullinan to 50. That's his 3rd half-century of the series. Does look such an accomplished player. Going to be 4 more. It's seen to be covered by Nasser Hussain at point. The ball just bobbled as it got to him, and he was into the dive by then and couldn't do much about it, so the ball bouncing right over his hand.
It's in the air, it's out. And that's the value of good, accurate bowling to a stroke player who loves to play his strokes. And he simply plonked it in the hands of Prem Prakash at square leg. Be well worth seeing Daryl Cullinan out in the first innings, because almost exactly the same. Caught Prem Prakash at short square leg then. And this time in the more orthodox position, close to the umpire, but a fine innings by him of 56. But the 4th wicket falls. In the air, and that's just through the gap, and Jonty Rhodes gets off the mark with a not very convincing cover drive, and no power in it either, but just 2 runs. Well, it's a big shout, and Jonty Rhodes looks as if he's going to walk. Now he is going to walk. an involved walk. It's must have been the faintest stick down the leg side. Well, he's a nice man. He's not the head-shaking type. There must have been a little snick down the leg side. Stewart was quick to take it.
Well, it's going to be difficult to tell from here whether he actually nicked it or not. Oh, that's not a good decision then, is it? That hit the pad.
Sean Pollock is the new batsman. A very unhappy Jaunty Rhodes was smartly off the field. Beautiful stroke. Hansie Cronje with that 4 achieves 3,000 test runs.
That's century and a half century for Hansie Cronje. Very, very good performance. Just short. Not much the fieldsman can do about that. It's almost impossible to dive forward in a circumstance like that. He's moved up now with this match to number 2 in the leading run scorers for South Africa. That's beautifully played. Yep. This time, Umpire Kitchen had a less difficult opportunity there. A wide one that Pollock probably didn't have to play at, but was offering him the opportunity for a fierce square cut. And it's now 136 for 6. Mark Boucher, new batsman. It's an absolute cracker. I don't think Cronje did one little thing wrong there.
Well, again, just the smallest of gaps. Just flicking the top of the pad.
That's a loose delivery, short, very short in fact. It didn't bounce a great deal, wide, and just asking to be smashed away in front of point. Just precisely what it got. Not all that far away from Mark Ramprakash, but it was a good shot. Boucher's an excellent timer of the ball.
That's something of a gift for Mark Boucher. Just short and wide enough, inviting the shot.
Yes, far too short from Andy Flintoff. And Mark Boucher, very underrated player.
That's a very good leave. It's a very good delivery too. Just shaped to go away, cut back into the right-hander and bounced a bit. Straight over the top of the stumps. That's a better shot. That's come right off the meat. No need to run this time. And Dominic Cork is waiting for someone in the crowd to throw it back. On the up. Plenty of width there from Darren Gough, but he really clattered into it. Mark Boucher didn't pick that. And the fact this last one's turned back into the right-hander there, the googly, will give him some encouragement also, and Alex Stewart.
Possibly an inside edge.
Yes, Mark Boucher was playing right across this. Yep, there was the inside edge because it looked plumb.
That's well saved. Saved a couple. Those who made 2,000 runs in Test cricket, Graham Pollock is number 2. Well, it's either touched the ground or the fieldsman is saying that he has no idea. Dominic Cork has rushed over. The fieldsman is not sure, so the umpire is going to call for the television replay. We know that it's got into his hands. Question of whether the ball in his hands then was pressed into the turf. Well, I don't think that can possibly be given out. It's a good shot.
Good player, this kid. Like, he's a good wicket keeper. I know he drops the odd ball, he plays and misses the odd time when he's batting, but I think he's a good player to have under pressure.
Well, that's going to be the half-century partnership.
Mark Boucher is going well now in this second innings. He's 33 not out. Oh, that's a good catch. Yeah, absolutely no doubt about that. Palpable noise. Alex Stewart had to go a long way across in front of first slip to take the catch.
Nancy Cronje looking for the guide down to third man, and Alex Stewart, well, that's a terrific catch. Just held in his first 2 fingers. I think Andrew Flintoff at first slip would have caught it as well.
Just pausing for a moment for a few well-chosen words with Steve Elworthy. That's got to be pretty close. He's a tall man, Elworthy, and if he gets a decent stride down the pitch, well, he's got a chance of getting the pad outside the line.
Well, this is well worth a shout.
That's out. Comfortably caught, absolutely no doubt about this one for Nasser Hussain. Skewing off the outside edge of Mark Boucher's bat. And just looped a bit to the man there, just behind the square on the offside. It's been a very handy innings for his side, that 35. But the wicket keeps this game wide open. 8 wickets down. The lead is 231. Alan Donald's decided it's actually a little bit warmer out there than he thought.
Yes.
Good shot. Worked away through that space on the onside. Ram Prakash has it now. 3 more runs. And those 4 runs bring up the 200 in this South African second innings. What about that one? That's close and close enough. Angus Fraser, one who tends to operate on the basis if he keeps it straight and you miss, you're out. Succeeds again. Elworthy aiming across the line, an ungainly sort of shot. Gone for 10, 9 down now. Perfectly good shot from Alan Donald. Splitting the field absolutely perfectly and timing it beautifully. That's the final wicket. That wraps it up. And again, 5 wickets for Angus Fraser. In the second innings, as in the first innings. Paul Adams, the man, is out. Second time that Angus Fraser's taken 10 wickets in the match. And South Africa dismissed in their second innings for 208.
A very good performance from the England bowlers, Fieldsman and the captain Alex Stewart, to knock over South Africa for that figure. The overnight not-out batsman Darryl Cullinan 56 and Hansie Cronje 67 to go with his 126 in the first innings. They were the top scorers in the second, and then Boucher 35, useful cricketer. He's done well behind the stumps, and that innings was invaluable there for the South Africans. The bowling figures for England dominated again by Angus Fraser. 10 for the match for him, 5 for 62 in that innings, 28.3 overs, and Dominic Cork did well, 4 for 60 from 20 overs and 4 maidens. The other wicket to Darren Gough, and just a little on the expensive side again. Now the match situation with the one innings to go. England need 247 to win, with South Africa having made 374 and 208. We join play now in the 4th ball of the 3rd over. Alan Donald is the bowler. Michael Atherton is taking strike, just 1 run on the board.
Run in, run in!
Brilliant. Oh. Well, Butcher called. It was Butcher's call. It wasn't a good call. He called to Jonty Rhodes. And I don't think Michael Atherton was very pleased at all about that.
Great fielding. That is Butcher's call. It's behind the stumps. He's called straight away, and I think if he'd run straight away, he would have got in. But here we see Atherton just scrambling the other end. Not a particularly good throw from Liebenberg, and Paul Adams unable to gather it. Yeah, there's Jonty Rhodes. He's actually upset because no one called to throw the end that Atherton was running to. And he's very upset about that. He likes to get his run-outs, Jonty Rhodes.
Good shot. Nicely timed. Really well played. Quickly onto the front foot. Oh, that was quick. And almost a replica of the dismissal in the first innings, where Donald went around the wicket and trapped Butcher LBW. Not this time.
Well, we've seen a lot of controversy. That one might have been just a little bit high.
Yes, in the gap. That's been the style and the pattern of Butcher's innings, that he seems to have struggled a bit in defence. Very careful about leaving balls go outside the off stump, but when he's put bat to ball, he's played 2 very crisp drives, and they brought him 2 boundaries.
Not even Jonty Rhodes. Not much of a ball from Alan Donald. It looked as though he had a problem with the footholds there. That's a helmet job, or was it glove as well? Looked more like helmet to the naked eye. Or was it glove as well? No shortage of, well, he's giving his shoulder a shake. He's got him away again, this time squarer than the previous stroke through extra cover. I think that is one of the best pieces of fielding you'll ever see, but we probably need to have the replay, have a look at it. It was a leaping, diving, hurtling flick back.
That's bounced out of the rough, it seems. Bounced and turned a bit. It's hit the bat round about the shoulder of the bat. Fine shot. Beautifully placed. That's going to be 4 runs. No one's going to cut that off. And you've got to be very confident to play that. When you've seen one turn out the rough, you've got to be confident first that you're right at the pitch of the ball. That is a fine shot. Minimum of effort, maximum of timing. That's out. Little nick through to the keeper. That's the first wicket down. Pollock is delighted, as are his colleagues. And it was a good delivery, just shaping away from the left-hander.
England have got to 40 with a relative amount of ease. But you can never count these South Africans out of any match. They're always likely to strike back at the important time, and that was an important time for them.
40 for 1. As Nasser Hussain comes out.
That's a big shout there, very confident shout too. I think the appealing has been sharpened up a bit on both sides this last day and a half.
Well, I don't think there's much chance of this being given out, really. He gets forward, he's outside off stump, he's supposedly playing a shot.
Beautiful shot. No great flourish in the follow through, and that's why the ball is just drawn up short of the boundary rope. But it was beautifully placed and nicely timed.
Run.
Again, Michael Atherton with that habit of taking the bottom hand off the bat handle. Claws around the ground for the 50 coming up for England. 50 for the loss of Mark Butcher. Oh, beautiful stroke. Beautiful stroke. It fired off the bat there. It was short, but it was played with lots of straight back, which Michael Atherton uses so effectively. Square on the offside. Runs coming this time. Very handily coming. Leg buys. Jacques Kallis just strained on leg side and flick of the pad, and that just beat the keeper. Yes, in the gap. That's the very best of Nasser Hussain. Oh, beautifully bowled. That was quick. It was a good line, and it had Nasser Hussain just groping at shadows. Beautiful stroke.
It's a good touch. Nasser Hussain. Alan Donald has just had him hurry his stroke a little bit, but Hunt's not going to do that. That's a beautiful stroke. Hansi Cronje is looking for the swing. There's none there at the moment. We might have to abandon that theory. Otherwise it becomes just a medium pace half volley. And 65 to win. 9 wickets remaining. These two batsmen going along well. That It's a very good catch, I suspect, off the glove. Well, it doesn't look as though it is going to be a very good catch off the glove, so our only way is to look at the replay.
Well, Donald is enormously disappointed on this one, and that's the reason why. That's out. Well, Steve Dunn is under a lot of pressure, but that is definitely out. Well, it might be worth looking at it again. I think it carried into the glove. It certainly hit Atherton on the glove. Perhaps the umpire thought it didn't carry. You haven't been doing it for a while.
It was a very quick bouncer coming from round the wicket. Much harder to play for the right-hander. It's starting off on the outside edge of his body, so to speak, and then going across past his chin or over it.
Very aggressive out there. And again, Alan Donald, fiery fast bowler, and some words to say to Michael Atherton.
He was just inquiring after his health. And that's the one that came off the glove.
Out.
9 overs to go this evening for these two batsmen to survive. If they do, they will have won round one.
Well, it's good for them just to keep tucking away these runs. Applause for the 50 partnership. Vicious, really, really vicious. Straight, right at the target, which in this instance was the head.
Well, I must admit, I'm glad I'm sat here behind a monitor rather than being out there facing him, because Alan Donald is really firing on all cylinders. Very quick delivery. And almost a little bit of appreciation there from Michael Atherton. Just a little nod.
He's hit that high in the air. Paul Adams going back from the square leg. And it drops 2 or 3 yards in front of him.
Well, I think he probably reasoned that with all these fielders close in, and England needing runs to win this match, that it was a reasonably safe shot. Had he got half a bat on it, well, he certainly got half a bat on it, and it ended up safe, but only just.
Paul Adams has now gone out deep. Well, between them they could write a book, these two, by the time they finished. The transcripts might not be particularly publishable, not in the full form, but it's exciting.
Yes, neither of them are shying away from it.
That's beautifully played.
Well, nicely placed, Mike Atherton. It's obviously a pleasure for him to get onto the front foot, having spent most of the last couple of overs fending off Alan Donald.
149 more runs to win is the target. 9 wickets still remaining.
Wait!
Well, Jonty Rhodes takes the pace off it. It was an awkward one for him to stop cleanly. Hussain will get 2. England move on to the 100 mark.
And I think there's relief all round. Certainly the ground is quite quiet. It's erupted into applause.
What's going to be the verdict this time? Very similar to the last one. All the pressure on the umpire, and the pressure put on by Alan Donald, by the entire slips cordon. Nasser Hussain is the most relaxed man out there at this particular moment.
Well, of course, if you don't ask the question, you don't get the decision, but there is an awful lot of asking going on, and that one, I think, quite clearly striking the pocket of the trouser rather than the inside edge.
Very good decision from Steve Dunn. Another chance. Oh, he's dropped it. Well, that is going to make Alan Donald absolutely livid. Mark Boucher has hung on to all those throughout the series. He was diving a long way across in front of his slips there, and for once it spills out of the gloves. And there would have been no doubt at all about that. It's been a really testing session for everyone out there, and not least for that man Alan Donald, who thought that finally he'd got the reward for some inspired fast bowling.
Yes, not a happy chap, Alan Donald. Got the genuine edge. Fairly straightforward catch, it has to be said, to Mark Boucher, and for once he spills it. Well, how often have we said in this series that Mark Boucher hangs on to the important nicks and catches? Unfortunately, on this occasion, at a very vital stage, not only in this match but also in the series, Mark Boucher spills a fairly straightforward chance.
Well, to my memory, he's only really dropped one, I think, which was down the leg side somewhere early in the series. And he's dropped plenty that haven't taken the edge, but whenever the edge has been found, he's been there very solidly. And it caps an extraordinary passage of play. It would be very unfortunate to castigate this young man for the error. It's the sort of thing which, OK, should have been taken. Alan Donald, in a really supportive gesture then, has come back from long leg just to reassure him. There's no mistaking the emotion on Alan Donald's face at the moment the catch went down, but that's a really important gesture there. Oh, wonderful shot at a time like this. Almost as though nothing's happened for the last 40 minutes. Pure grace, pure ease, pure timing.
And there were 4 runs added to take it along to 108 for 1. Butcher, the man, out for 22. There was a wonderful innings from Atherton. He's batted right through for 43. and took a lot of tough stuff out there. So too Hussain, 25 not out. There are 18 extras, 108 for 1. Bowling figures, Pollock, 15 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 39. 4 other bowlers below him went wicketless. And up the top there, one of the best performances you will ever see. Alan Donald, 13 overs, 5 maidens, none for 17. Doesn't look anything at all, but I can tell you that it was one superb performance. Now then, a day to go. England need 139 more runs to win. South Africa 374 and 208. England 336 and 108 for 1. And one of the heroes for England, there may be plenty before the match is over, one of the heroes is Angus Fraser, and here he is talking to Simon Hughes.
How are the legs now?
I'm standing, I'm not sitting down at the moment, so they're all right. It's hard work, but you get in a good rhythm sometimes, and you find it. Some days you find it easier than others. It wasn't that hard physically out there, and obviously taking wickets as I did, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Tremendous statement from you, considering you were marginal selection for this match.
Yes, I say there are a few doubters about, and it's nice to sort of stick 2 fingers up at them at times.
247 to win, about 140 left. Can you get them?
I hope so, I hope so. The blokes have played magnificent this evening. There's still a bit in the wicket. I mean, they've got some magnificent bowlers, so we've got to work hard tomorrow, but if we play as well as we can do, we should get there.
Our coverage. England need 139 runs to beat South Africa and square the series. They have a day to make them, 9 wickets in hand, but there's at least one angry opponent standing between them and victory. Amid the controversy of yesterday's spell from Alan Donald, there was also the courage and commitment of Michael Atherton. England will need a similar determination to see them through today. On only 4 occasions has an England side scored more than 200 in the 4th innings to win a home test, and only once have they scored more than the 247 required of them at the beginning of their 2nd innings yesterday. Well, I reckon they've got a real opportunity today, and they've played well throughout. So this is a time that England and their batsmen and their teamwork can come to the fore. Well, welcome to the highlights, and this is the way it all began on the final day. 139 to win. England 336 and 108 for 1. Lovely partnership between Atherton and Nasser Hussain. Atherton is unbeaten on 43 at the moment, and I reckon we have a pulsating first session and part of the second one as well. Now then, David Gower has the story of the pitch. He's given us account of it every day so far, and here's what he says on the final morning.
Well, it's my final chance to praise this pitch produced by Steve Burks, which has lasted beautifully for this test match. On the 5th day, as you might expect, 1 or 2 here are probably going to keep low from a seamer's length. We saw a couple yesterday do that. The middle here still looks in pretty good nick. This is about the length here where Alan Donald was pitching last night on that ferocious attack, so it seemed, on Mike Atherton. And again, a little bit of unevenness now. We got the 5th day. The only thing that the spinners managed to find of help are these footholds really at the end, but they're wide. This one here you can see is pretty deep. It's been scrubbed clean this morning by the groundsman. Pretty deep there, but very dry. But that's so wide of leg stump, it shouldn't really cause problems for the batsman. All in all, England still have a great chance as batters to win this test match.
Thanks, David. And we're going to join play now with the 4th ball of the first over. Sean Pollock is bowling. Nasser Hussain is taking strike, and no runs have been added to the overnight total. First run for the morning, they'll get 2 there. A good shot. Beautifully timed, and that's the penalty paid by Pollock for drifting towards leg stump and not being able to swing the ball back from leg to off. First of all, Sean Pollock will be extremely annoyed with himself there. Once again, he couldn't get any swing. Michael Atherton has gone to a half-century. Very, very good innings from the former England captain. 51 not out. 20 Rhodes, that is a wonderful piece of fielding.
Just brilliant that was. And that's what he's all about. He really wants to lift the team. Superbly struck by Mike Atherton. Bit of room there. Used the pace that Donald bowls with, but Jonty Rhodes, fantastic bit of fielding. Really does lift the bowlers and the whole team for that matter. Well bowled. Terrific Yorker. Almost had the desired effect. But well played by Nasser Hussain in the end.
Beautiful stroke. Nasser Hussain has greeted Donald back over the wicket with a glorious stroke away through cover.
Very good player, square of the wicket, Nasser Hussain. Again, using the pace that Donald generates, is in the slot, and he didn't miss it at all. Beautifully executed.
Turned him around there very nicely.
Yes, this is just about the perfect delivery. See Atherton trying to play it on the leg side, turning the bat round. Watch the face of the bat here. He's looking to hit it on the onside, and it's come off the leading edge.
That was very well bowled.
Much better over from Shaun Pollock. That was an excellent delivery as well. Just a little bit of a way swing now. You can see that one just swinging. Nasser Hussain tried to adjust at the last minute and actually went too far, and it's come off the inside edge.
And Michael Atherton, they're evading quite well. He was in full control there, kept his eyes on the ball. That was well done. It was well played. That was quick.
Well, it's all on again today. Just beautifully bowled, right at the throat. Not sure whether to go under or to lift the bat up, and he got in between.
Fine shot, short enough to give Atherton all the time he needed. There's a little bit of turn, but he had plenty of time just to watch the ball, judge the turn and the bounce. Great shot. Well, a couple here for Nasser Hussain. Paul Adams giving chase from square leg, no one at mid-on. And Alan Donald couldn't get across in time. Alan Donald has been switching round to over on a regular basis this morning. Goes back over again now. Trying that Yorker, not far off. Still plenty of pace in this from Alan Donald.
He's bowled really quick yesterday evening and this morning, basically through the air.
Single brings up the 100 partnership between Atherton and Hussain. Very valuable indeed to England's cause. It's probably about the best delivery of the morning from Shaun Pollock. Great line, and just moving away quite sharply from Mike Atherton. Good hook shot. It was well directed at the batsman and beautifully played. That relieves the pressure a bit. 4 runs from a very good bouncer, met by a very good shot.
Well, it was a pretty good ploy by Callis. Keep bowling it wide and wider, and then suddenly trying to knock the bouncer in, see if he could catch Michael Atherton a little unprepared, but not at all. They've tried everything this morning. Doesn't make any difference.
Nicely played. 100 exactly to win the match. Oop, just fell short. Beautifully bowled that by Pollock. He's been threatening to find at the edge of the bat right through the session here, and especially from that pavilion end. He's zipped a couple past the bat, and that just found the edge.
Well, I think credit to the batsman here. He's playing the ball down, and it didn't carry by a good yard to Daryl Cullinan. Frustration for the bowler, no doubt, because he's bowled an absolute beauty.
Well taken down the leg side by Mark Boucher. Ball has a real tendency here to swing after the bounce. It was a bit of Trent Bridge folklore which Chris Broad shared with me on the first day.
Running.
In a gap. Paul Adams. Jonty Rhodes. South Africa still racing around the field. And the 150 comes up. That's a good shout. That's a very good shout. Questions, was he playing a shot? Was he outside the line of the off stump?
Well, I think this was a similar type shot to the one he played in the first innings. He got his foot well across. The ball was very straight. A different umpire, of course. Merv Kitchen was the umpire on this occasion. Steve Dunn, the umpire on the last time. That's very close.
Oh, beautifully bowled again. Sean Pollock trots through that time. And it really is good stuff.
Well, I don't think Sean Pollock could believe that this one had passed the edge of the bat. He ran a good way down the wicket to almost celebrate it, but no edge, I'm afraid, Sean. Not this time.
That's a lovely shot. Beautifully placed. Could have followed through, but not quite enough to take it over the boundary line. Three runs for Nasser Hussain. Steve Elworthy is the bowler now, and that's pulled away beautifully. Crack of the bat. And Michael Atherton just dismissed that. Well, a lot of batsmen have got out to that sort of shot in this match.
Well, he almost got his bat out the way. I think the intention was to play the cut shot, and almost a half-hearted attempt there, I think.
Oh, well bowled. Very well bowled. He's just run the ball away in the air, a bit off the seam. And suddenly this comes darting straight at Atherton. Jabs down, might easily have gone onto the stumps.
Well, perhaps a little bit of extra pace. 86 miles an hour was that delivery. And Mike Atherton's bat just hadn't quite got to the vertical. Very, very close to playing that one on. Good luck still with the England batsman.
front of square leg, and it will go for 4. Didn't quite time it as he would have wished, nor did the ball get up as much as Jacques Kallis would have liked. But it's taken England on to 166 for 1.
Yes, very good shot, this one. High on the bat, but he read it pretty well, Nasser Hussain. Kept it down nicely.
A beautiful shot. Atherton has played that wonderfully well. Got himself in a good position and played a glorious stroke.
Well, South Africans really throwing their hands up. They've had some very bad luck this morning, and here's another example. That's just come back a fraction. Mike Atherton fooled by both pace and the movement of the seam.
.50 for Nasser Hussain. Two good innings out there. Atherton is on 77, and now Nasser Hussain a level half century. Great shot. The ball swung late on him, so it needed Atherton to be very precise in his stroke play. The timing was excellent, and he was across, covering the swing. It's a big shout. It was definitely pad first, or so it looked from here.
Watch how this front foot gets right across, and if it's on line, oh, that's a very good shout indeed.
That's valuable for England, that is. Frustrating for Elworthy and Cronje. Thickish outside edge. Well, with plenty of pace, Stephen Elworthy. And he's bowled well. And that's the gap. At run 4. Atherton was looking for it, but Pollock was too quick for it. Beautiful. That's in front of square. It was a quick delivery, but Atherton just sailed into it. He's played a couple of lovely hook shots behind square, and that was a very good pull.
Alan Donald to Nasser Hussain. Oh, it's close. They had a few very close decisions this morning, and Nasser desperate to get that pad outside the line of our stump.
Well, again, it's the shot that Nasser plays on a regular basis, that back foot just sliding way down the leg side, taking his shoulders round and just losing a little bit of balance. Got the benefit of the doubt this time.
That's a great delivery. Second ball after lunch, short and run, and he's experimented with this recently, and he gets a quick Yorker in.
Well, no time to play yourself in, straight into the battle again.
What a catch. What an absolutely brilliant catch. Nasser Hussain driving that ball just outside off stump. It found the outside edge and flew hard and low to Jacques Kallis. That second slip. Let's watch this.
Well, you see many brilliant catches in the world of cricket, but I don't think you'll see anything finer than that. It was very fast and very low. Jacques Kallis just kept his eye on it perfectly. Oh, what a wonderful catch that is.
Nasser Hussain returning to this Trent Bridge Pavilion to a full round of applause. Very fine innings. 58 before he was caught by Jacques Kallis. Alex Stewart has been waiting in that pavilion for some time now, and must sense that his side are on the brink of victory here. Good shot to start with. Nicely placed.
Well, there's one thing for sure, that if Alex Stewart plays his normal game, this match will be over very quickly. And that's the first ball he receives. He manages to get 4 runs, so the signs are good. And there's another example. Short ball from Alan Donald. Still quick, but Mike Atherton feeling as though he's in good enough nick to be able to play it, and sure enough he is. 91. This really perhaps a long hop. It very nearly got through, actually. Probably struck Atherton's bat up around the maker's name.
The pause for the 200. Interesting position down at third man. Paul Adams is about 25 yards in from the boundary. And that's pulled away well. 4 runs to Alex Stewart. Got a good piece of bat on that.
Well, this is great to watch. Alex Stewart has no negative thoughts in his mind. If he sees the ball that he can hit, he will go out there and he'll hit it. And as I said, if he continues along this vein, the game's going to be over very, very quickly.
It was quicker, shorter and higher. Alex Stewart in position to play the shot again, and likewise in position to pull out of it in time too. Fine shot. Alex Stewart hasn't held back at all. Whether it's short or up there, he's played some fine shots. 6 balls, 3 boundaries, 12 not out.
Well, this was there to be hit again. A very full half volley from Alan Donald. Doesn't matter that he's been the best bowler in this match so far, or one of the best. Alex Stewart is not missing out on any opportunities.
That's as good a shot as we've seen from Alex Stewart. He's only been there 2 seconds. "13 minutes Alex Stewart has been batting, and he's hardly defended. Alan Donald finding 2 distinctly different ways of keeping the runs down. Either bowling quick and just outside off stump, or quick and very short. Nearly clearing Mark Boucher again. Certainly cleared Alex Stewart. What a good shot again. That wasn't a bad Yorker, or attempted Yorker. It was only just a fraction off the target. And for someone digging that one out, it was a very well timed off drive. 12 from the over. Well struck and well placed. That was the man who'd gone finer a couple of overs ago when Alex Stewart first came in. No one at mid-on, so at least 2 here. Paul Adams actually sprinting to make sure it's no more.
Well, South Africa need wickets. And, you can't have men in close catching position and men saving the single. So something has to be sacrificed, and in this case, it's the saving single positions.
Tempted. And survives Michael Atherton. Certainly full enough to have a go at.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of a late away swing which fooled Atherton's shot. He was looking to play the ball square of the wicket, which we've seen him do on numerous occasions in this innings.
Sean Pollock misfielding. That's going to cost 2 runs. Well, cost 1. He was deep enough to have given away the single in the first place. Extraordinary shot from Alex Stewart. Hit it down very firmly into the ground, and then Sean Pollock took his eyes off the ball, as in fact had Alex Stewart. No problems with that one. Imperious as Alex Stewart steers that through the offside. This is becoming a most emphatic closing phase of this game. England taking no prisoners. Alex Stewart's 7th boundary.
Waiting, yeah.
Beaten him out of gully, even though it was a miscue. And 3 to Alex Stewart. A real dash since it's gone in.
Now they can see victory is there for the grasping. They're just quickening the run rate, throwing a little caution to the winds, and this is Alec at his imperious best.
Say no more.
I mean, this is how he plays a lot of his innings. He scores a runner ball a lot of the times. He has a full array of shots, front or back foot, good puller. Not so much a great hooker, but a terrific puller, back foot player, front foot player. Times the ball absolutely superbly.
Oh! Well.
Well, that looked out, didn't it? Some nick or something. Oh, after all the decisions in this match, well, South Africa will be feeling that they've had the worst of the umpiring decisions.
That's a nice shot. Might not get to the long off boundary. The outfield's quite quick today. Good shot. Now 241. Atherton still needs 5 for his century and only 6 needed to win. I'd suggest the quick single might be on. It's in the air. Slightly miscued by Stewart, and he'll keep the strike with 3. Still 1 ball to go in the over, so matter of Atherton pushing a single and then hitting a boundary. Well, needs to get 3. That's all they'll take. And that's the victory. Atherton stays on 98 not out. The score is 247. England have won by 8 wickets, and it's a stirring victory and very, very important for all sorts of reasons. The team itself, Alex Stewart, the new captain, the fact that they've squared the series going to Headingley, and also just throwing ahead a little bit to the Ashes battle that will be going on in Australia between October and early January this year. And with great pleasure and triumph for Alex Stewart running off the field there, 45 not out, and a lovely innings. At the top there, Donald and Pollock. Donald couldn't quite produce yesterday evening's bowling. He was a little more flat today, which is understandable, and Adams, Cullis, Elworthy and Cronje were unable to get the spin or swerve or swing that was so badly needed. The story of the match, South Africa 374 all out and 208, beaten by England 336 and 247 for 2. And man of the match, Angus Fraser, a tremendous performance from him. He took 10 wickets once before in Trinidad, not so long ago, against West Indies. And his performance here today and for the earlier parts of the game, I thought quite outstanding. Moved the ball in the air and off the seam. England winning by 8 wickets and the series level at 1-all. And after the presentation ceremony, David Gower, across at the pavilion, spoke with the 2 captains, Alex Stewart and Hansie Cronje, and following that with Angus Fraser and Michael Atherton.
Alec, many congratulations. You seem to be in a bit of a hurry at the end there.
Yeah, a little bit. M25's on the bill, so we want to get over and done with as soon as possible.
What, another game tomorrow?
Yeah, we've got a quarter-final tomorrow, so get down there for that, but certainly enjoy today's efforts.
Well, it's hard to know where to start at because you've got so many players who contributed to this all-round team effort. Might as well start with the man of the match, Angus Fraser, who it seemed was in danger at the start of the game of even losing his place.
Yeah, I'll just put that right. He wasn't really in danger. Obviously, we picked Alan Mullally for a possible variation. Once we got here, saw the wicket, Angus was always going to play. So he played, got 10 wickets and deserved man of the match.
He bowled superbly, but it's, again, a performance in amongst others, well supported by his colleagues in the bowling attack.
Yeah, I think on the first innings, 2 bowlers performed well. The other 2 didn't quite get it right. But in the second innings, we supported each other well. Obviously, Angus led the way. Dominic Cork came back exceptionally well with Darren Gough there. And we can't really forget Andrew Flintoff on debut.
Now, we made quite a lot about the fact that England have only won 5 times in their history chasing 250 or more. This was a 3 runs short of that target. Were there any worries at the initial part of the chase?
Not really. So it's always going to be difficult. Magnificent bowling attack the South Africans have, and it's going to be hard work. When you've got someone like Michael Atherton up the top of the order, you always back yourself. He played magnificently, and again well supported by Nasser Hussain. Mark Butcher got us off to a good start, and I had a little bit to do with it towards the end.
You mentioned Michael. He's had such a good season, having relieved himself of the captaincy, resigned the captaincy at the end of that West Indies tour. You're not thinking of doing that, are you?
Not just yet. I quite enjoy winning. It's the first time for me, and hopefully there'll be a few more.
Well, no, indeed. Make the most of it. But again, you've had some good guys coming in. Mark Butcher coming back into this side. He's defined his place, really, hasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, Mark, he obviously played very well at Edgbaston. Unfortunately, broke his thumb, but he's come back and got stuck in straight away and played very well both innings.
Well, you've come back from the dead almost. At Old Trafford there, you hung on by your fingernails. Now you have a chance of winning the series.
That's what, you know, we left Old Trafford there, we just hung on for the draw, as you say. There were 2 to go. We had to win both to win the series. We've won 1, there's 1 to play, and I'm sure it'll be very good at Headingley. Looking forward to seeing all the spectators come back.
Indeed, well done, congratulations. Now, Hansi, in the same way as England have clawed their way back, you suddenly find yourself in a position now where you've actually got a battle now to win the series.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. We certainly didn't come over here expecting that it's going to be very easy. We knew they were going to come back very hard, and they did. And I think looking back at this test match, we probably didn't bat well enough in the 3rd innings.
Is that the turning point for you then, the 3rd innings?
Yeah, I thought the 3 early wickets in the 3rd innings set up a possible chance for them to come back, and we had to bat well, and unfortunately came back on the 4th morning and lost some early wickets again. So I would say those 2 spells turned the game in their favour.
Is there a feeling in your dressing room that the run of the ball went against you here?
Happens that way in sport. That's why we play this game. Some of the test matches it's gone our way, this test match it's gone theirs, and I think you create your own luck as well. You know, you've got to hang on to those half chances, you've got to make sure you're positive all the time, bowl the ball in the right place, and those things go your way. And you know, if it was their day this test match, then so be it. You know, we're going to come back in the next test match, and hopefully 1 or 2 things will go our way.
So you're going to back your men to come back there and clean the series up?
For sure. I think congratulations to them. They played magnificently well and played better than us and deserved to win.
OK, well, thank you both for a memorable game. We look forward to Headingley.
Thank you.
Well, the 2 England heroes here, Angus Fraser, welcome back again to success, to the big time.
Yes, I say 5 days ago we never envisioned this would happen, but obviously put in a good performance and we're delighted with the outcome.
You had to work hard there, but it must be especially nice for you. You've already talked about it a couple of times in the game, when you felt your position was under threat, to come back so emphatically.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the first to admit, I mean, obviously I haven't got wickets in the last 2 test matches, and therefore people are speculating, but as I say, all of a sudden you get a wicket that's got a little bit in it, and it was nice to sort of make the most of the conditions, and as I say, hopefully I've got myself in for a couple more now.
Yeah, and history suggests that the pitch for the next game at Headingley might also help you never know.
I only played 1 test match at Headingley, actually, and that was against South Africa 4 years ago, and I didn't sort of do particularly well there, so hopefully this time it will be better, yeah.
OK, let's move across to Michael Overton. Very well played again. A little frustrating at the end, though, just 1 short of 100.
Well, Stewie came in and played so well, and I told him not to worry about the 100, just finish it as quickly as possible.
Well, you've got to nick the strike.
I think I was playing myself out of form at the end.
Now, the major feature of that innings seemed to be the tussle. Well, that's the most polite word I can find with Alan Donald yesterday and this morning again. How much satisfaction did that give you to come through that on top?
Well, he's a great fast bowler, and it's always a challenge facing him with the new ball. Obviously, it was a key part of our 2nd innings. And, you know, there's a lot been written in the papers about the duel yesterday, but one thing's for sure, you know, at the end of the game we'll both have a drink, and you know, we're good mates. Yeah, this series has been marked by some very good sportsmanship. Yeah, there's not a problem between the 2 sides. I think both sides try and play it hard but fair, and at the end of the game, whatever the result, you know, both sides have had a drink together at the end of the test match. Now, you've had a very good series. Have you got a few runs left for Headingley as well? I hope so. Try and keep the form going. Obviously, it's a crucial test match. We've got a chance of winning a big series, and we'll be doing our best to do so. Great. Well, thank you very much, and many congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Cricket coming up for us on